I come. Yeah, I've waited all my life to get out of the trenches. I'm ready to fight for.
Welcome everybody to the Mountain Dew Voltage Cup Series Last Chance Qualifier here at 8 Bowl. So let's see who we got for the winners here. Scott Greeny, 3 wins on the season at Rockingham, Bristol, and he won at Iowa. So that is his credit for the wins. John Lanier starting second, won back at New Hampshire. Gene Evans won the race at Ricky Raceway. James Francis won the 8 Bowl race here at race 25. Phil Tringali in for his 3 poles. Peggy Bowling won Pocono. Jim Morton won Milwaukee. Peter Sands is in via pole. Michael Jenkins is did he win a race? No. He's in via position or whatever. Derek Fletcher won at Dover and Shaw. And now I have been mistaken. It is after this race that the drivers make their switches. So my apologies. Daniel Carnero. Did he not win a race? I don't think he did. No, he did not. Zachary Rogers is in for his win at California. Now, you've got to look here. Who in here is teammates? Is there anybody? You've got James Francis and Peter Sands. There are some teammates. Michael Jenkins is all alone again. Jim Morton and Zachary Rogers are teammates. I think that's it. Scott Greeny's all alone. 34 is all alone. 29's at RCR. Stuart Haas. Yep, that's it. So Team Penske, the 12 and the 22 and the 3 and the 23 will be working. No, I'm sorry. The 22, the 2, and the 12. All 3 Penske cars are in. And if all 3 could get in the chase, that would be wonderful, even though Peggy Bowling will be moving to the 43 for Richard Petty Motorsports. But without delay, let's get ready to go racing here for 10 laps. And let's hope we have a accident-free race like we did in the Code Red one. So out of all these drivers here, now if we had just done multiple wild cards, you would have had Scott Greeny, Derek Fletcher, and somebody else that had a win. Now Zachary Rogers raced his way into the he raced his way into green flag, by the way. He raced his way into the Truck Series Last Chance Qualifier by winning that race. He was already in the Code Red one, and now he has got to race himself in again as he only had 1 win at California. Now we can almost see all drivers here again with 12. Scott Greeny getting a push from Gene Evans. Philip Tringali almost won Ricky Raceway. So here's your this is your 3rd transfer point, and it's going to go to John Lanier for the time being. And Scott Greeny is wide there. As Penske is working together there, the 22 and the 2. As that time by, your 3 drivers were Gene Evans, John Lanier, James Francis. Scott Greeny moving back in the 3rd. Here comes Jim Morton with help from teammate Zachary Rogers. Zachary Rogers in his Pepsi Max AT&T car here. It's such a beautiful race car. And that is their special scheme there. Now he falls back. Gene Evans, Scott Greeny, Jim Morton, but the 48's got to be careful. He's riding that bumper. He turned the 34 into the wall. Oh, the 01. Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh! Gene Evans! His career is over! I don't know if he's okay or not. Oh my goodness. I know one thing though. We had been talking about how Gene Evans had to get top 3 or he was done. Well, that is probably the worst way to go. Leading the race, and oh my gosh, we got more trouble back here. Peggy Bowling or somebody else almost got spun out. Oh man, we're going to have to take a look back at that later. Not that I want to. Oh, man. Right now it's Scott Green, Zachary Rogers, and James Francis that are in the transfer spots. Hopefully they don't wreck again, and I don't want to see a wreck like that. So Zachary Rogers left his teammate Jim Morton behind, but racing's racing. You want to get in the chase. I mean, it's not about being teammates here. Oh, no, John Linares. John Linares getting into Jim Morton there for a second. Meanwhile, these drivers have pulled away. Still the same three up top. Ooh, James Francis getting close to the left rear of Zachary Rogers. Daniel Carneiro sneaking up here looking for third. Gene Evans has retired from the race. He is out of his car, and it is announced that he does not want to come back here, and he knows he has to race the full season. So he says, "Yeah, I'm done. I'm done, guys. It was nice knowing you. I'll continue my racing in Code Red in the Truck Series because we will not be going to this awful fast track." Well, I would expect no less from Gene Evans. Scott Green leading now. Daniel Carneiro is up to third. It was 5 to go back then. Scott Green, he won 3 races in the season. I've expected no less for where he is right now. And the question now is, who's going to pit when? Now they started pitting back on lap 8 last time when they hit 3 to go. So you will see some drivers pit at 3 to go, and you'll see others pit at 2 to go. Get the most out of their tires. Fastest car on the track has been Daniel Carneiro. And then Jim Morton and Zachary Rogers. The 23, Michael Jenkins with a power move. The 23 is back here, and Derek Fletcher and Michael Jenkins just power moved themselves up here. And Michael Jenkins did such a power move, he got himself all the way up to 5th. Who's going to pit? Who's not? And then we've got Scott Greening, Daniel Carneiro, Michael Jenkins, Derek Fletcher, Peggy Bowling, Peter Sands, Jim Morton, and Philip Tringali. Zachary Rogers and James Francis stayed out. John Lanier stayed out as well. Now, if James Francis stays drafting with the 3, it could be beneficiary for both of them, and that's what they're going to do. Now, as long as James doesn't turn the 3, and he's being very careful about it, he's staying off the bumper. Daniel Carneiro is away. Speed limit is 75, and he beats out Scott Greeney. Zachary Rogers is staying on another lap. I cannot believe it. He might have just thrown away this chase. But Scott Greeney getting pressure from Peggy Bowling as Daniel Carneiro begins to move away. Here comes James Francis. There goes John Laniers. Zachary Rogers coming in the pit right now. James Francis is out here. There's Daniel Carneiro. You have to look back a ways for Peggy Bowling. Right now, it looks like James Francis and Daniel Carneiro are both in because these 2 are too far back. Now, where will the 3 car come out? This was the last lap. There's the 22 and the 18. Zachary Rogers might have done it perfectly enough. This is the white flag lap. Daniel Carneiro passing for second on James Francis. They're coming up on Zachary Rogers. Who's gonna get first? It's gonna be close. Roger's leaving the room. It's gonna be Daniel Carneiro. And second is Zachary Rogers, barely. But they did it. All three of these drivers are in. And 12th out of the race, Gene Evans. 11th, Michael Jenkins. 10th, Jim Morton. 9th, Derek Fletcher. 8th, Philip Tringali. 7th, John Linares. 6th, Scott Greeny. 5th, Peter Sands. And 4th was Peggy Bowling. 3rd in the chase, James Francis. 2nd in the chase, Zachary Rogers. And 1st and in the chase, Daniel Carneiro. And here's the special announcement, guys. Every driver in the chase is getting a crest this time around. So look for 15 awesome brand new paint schemes that they will be running in the Chasers All-Star Race and later throughout the chase itself. So we'll see you for the Chasers All-Star Race for all 3 series? Yep, all 3 series. We'll see you for those Chasers All-Stars races. See you then.